ever wondered what really went down in those infamous saloons of the 1800s? Number 16. Julia Boulette was the original sex worker with a heart of gold. Arriving in Virginia City in 1859, Julia Boulette quickly became the sought-after companion of many miners in town. Choosing to embrace a self-employed path as a sex worker, Julia was more than just a figure of desire. She was renowned for her wit, beauty, and most notably, her heart of gold. Julia's philanthropic contributions to the townspeople were so significant that she was bestowed the honorary title of firefighter, an unusual recognition for a woman of her profession. Her charitable endeavors endeared her to the community, portraying a side of her that transcended the societal perceptions of sex workers in the Old West. Tragically, Julia's story takes a dark turn in 1867. Found brutally slain in her bed, the victim of a heinous crime committed by a French drifter, her untimely demise shocked the community. Number 15. Dora Dufresne became a madam at 15. Dora Dufresne's journey into the world of the Old West's underbelly began as a dance hall girl. However, her ambition knew no bounds, and by the age of 15, she had already ascended to the title of madam. Establishing herself as a formidable figure, Dufresne went on to own several brothels in Deadwood, with the most renowned being Diddlin' Dora's. The allure of Dora's establishment lay in its promise of the 3 Ds: dining, drinking, and dancing. A place that boldly declared itself as somewhere you could even bring your mother. Dora Dufresne's approach to the profession was both audacious and revolutionary, challenging societal norms of the time. Beyond the walls of Diddlin' Dora's, Dufresne forged connections that would transcend the boundaries of business. A notable friendship bloomed between her and the legendary Calamity Jane. Their camaraderie endured the passage of time, with the two women remaining friends well into their 40s. Their paths reconverged later in life when Calamity Jane, grappling with the effects of alcoholism, sought refuge in Dora's establishment. In an unexpected turn of roles, Jane found employment as a cook and laundrywoman under Dufresne's care. However, the reunion was short-lived as Calamity Jane passed away not long after, marking the end of an era. Number 14. Sex work could take place in brothels or on the street. While many may envision saloon girls operating discreetly under the watchful eyes of local authorities, the truth paints a different picture. In the Old West, sex work wasn't just a clandestine affair, it was a legitimate form of income. The vast landscapes of unincorporated territories lacked proper governance, creating a space where sex work thrived. Historians suggest that approximately 25% of the Old West's population participated in sex work, with venues ranging from brothels to parlor houses. These establishments boldly advertised their services with hanging red lanterns, enticing those in search of pleasure. The experience extended beyond mere transactions, with game rooms and dancing adding to the allure for patrons anticipating services. Interestingly, the dynamics of sex work varied between venues. Women in brothels enjoyed a degree of protection thanks to vigilant bouncers. On the flip side, those working on the streets had to navigate a more perilous path, fending for themselves in the unpredictable terrain of the Old West. Some women, even after aging out of traditional desirability, found refuge in small houses, continuing to work under the guidance of the madams who had employed them in the past. Number 13. Secret pregnancies. In the world of saloon girls and brothels, one of the gravest challenges a woman could encounter was an unintended pregnancy. Such an occurrence not only jeopardized her livelihood, but also posed significant obstacles to the continuation of her business. An archaeological excavation of an historic brothel, conducted by Boston University, exposed a poignant aspect of these challenges. Syringes used to administer concoctions of mercury, arsenic, and vinegar. These harsh measures were employed to induce abortions or treat diseases, reflecting the desperate lengths women went to in order to navigate the complexities of their circumstances. Adding a layer of complexity, some women found unconventional solutions within the confines of relationships. Mrs. Lake, the owner of a brothel, married a doctor who not only treated sexually transmitted diseases, but also provided medicines for inducing abortions. However, the overarching hurdle was the formidable Comstock Act of 1873. This legislation not only prohibited the distribution of birth control items and information, but also outlawed terminations. Faced with such restrictions, working girls had to resort to crafting their own homemade remedies to prevent pregnancies, perpetuating a clandestine cycle of struggle. The true toll of infants born to working girls in the Old West remains an enigma. Terminations went largely unreported due to the suppressive reach of the Comstock Act. Ann Butler notes that stillborns and fetuses often met a discreet end, quietly disposed of or buried without any formal record. An incident in February of 1877 in Laramie, Wyoming, where Mary Keene and others were charged for failing to provide a proper burial for a fetus, offers a glimpse into the legal ramifications these women faced. Yet, even in the face of such adversity, some managed to navigate the complexities of motherhood, as illustrated by Laura Evans of Colorado, whose daughter Lucille found a life outside the realms of prostitution. In interviews with her great-grandsons, Lucille's reticence about her mother speaks volumes, describing her simply as a landlady. Number 12. A deadly love triangle revealed. A perilous journey to the top of the Wild West sex trade. Belle Brazing's tale begins in 1860 in Lexington, Kentucky, where she was born to Sarah Ann Cox, a mother struggling against the odds. Sarah's marriage to George Brazing, an abusive alcoholic who abandoned the family, marked the onset of Belle's challenging upbringing. To make ends meet, Sarah juggled part-time work as a dressmaker and a prostitute. As a teenager, Belle found herself entangled in a complicated love triangle, resulting in a deceased man, another on the run, Belle pregnant, and a dissatisfied resolution for all involved. Following the birth of her child, Belle continued to live with her mother, despite having married the child's father. Tragically, Sarah passed away a few months later, and their home fell into the hands of the landlord. Faced with dire circumstances, Belle made a pivotal decision to enter the sex industry, quickly ascending to the top of the local market. She even worked in a brothel located in one of Mary Todd Lincoln's former residences, solidifying her status as one of the most famous madams in the Wild West. As Belle ventured out independently, she built a loyal clientele who not only provided business, but also invested in her various brothels. Over the years, she owned several establishments, earning a reputation for having the most orderly of the disorderly houses. Known for her generosity, Belle allowed her employees to keep most of their earnings, while deriving her profits from the liquor she sold, including the finest champagne. Operating in Kentucky until the advent of Prohibition, Belle faced a decline in her fortunes. Her last days were marked by addiction to morphine and the affliction of uterine cancer. Despite her challenges, Belle was remembered as the quintessential lady of the night with a heart of gold, contributing to local charities. So impactful was her legacy that many believe she inspired the character of Belle Watling in Gone with the Wind, although Margaret Mitchell denied the connection. Number 11. Social disease was rampant in the West. Venereal disease was widespread, and treatment of STDs was downright dangerous. As Christopher Knowlton explains in his book, Cattle Kingdom, prostitutes, quote, faced the constant threat of disease, and not only sexually transmitted diseases such as syphilis, popularly known as the calamity in light of the poor prospects for a cure, or gonorrhea, which was equally prevalent. STD treatment was limited as penicillin wasn't invented yet. Writer Keith Suter tells of using calomel, a powder of mercurious chloride which could cause patients to, quote, salivate, perspire, feel dry, want to vomit, and purge their bowels. But these were symptoms of mercury poisoning. Likewise, gonorrhea was also treated with mercury, but also arsenic and other deadly elements, according to J.R. Thorpe at Bustle. Men who contracted STDs could pass it on to their wives or working girls. In 1907, 19-year-old Anna Groves contracted venereal disease from one of her customers. When the man refused to do anything to help her, Anna fired a shot at him through the window of a Wyoming saloon. The bullet missed its mark, but Anna was arrested anyway. In reporting the incident, Laramie's semi-weekly Boomerang noted that Anna was in poor health, though she, quote, pleaded guilty and expressed regrets that she was such a poor shot. Anna was sentenced to 2 years in the state penitentiary, but pardoned after 5 months, when it became painfully apparent that she was fatally ill.